Ja, het is zover. Mijn gast van vanavond, de supergetalenteerde Georgia. Britse producer, drummer, zangeres. Welk instrument kan ze niet bespelen? Ze kan alles, ze doet alles zelf en tegelijkertijd... Heb je al live kunnen zien op bijvoorbeeld Roekwerchter, de Song van het Jaar, in Paradiso. Zat al in de studio met Gorillaz, Mura Masa, Shania Twain. Deze zomer komt haar derde plaat Euphoric uit. Daar hoorde je daarnet al de track van It's Euphoric. En het komend uur leer je Georgia nog beter kennen. Hoe kan je beter iemand leren kennen dan aan diens playlist? Georgia blijft vanavond een uur lang om haar favoriete muziek te draaien. Georgia, good evening. Welcome to the studio.
Thank you for inviting me.
How are you doing on this lovely Sunday evening?
Well, yeah, it's lovely. I mean, I've arrived from London, which was grey and miserable, believe it or not. And it seems to be lovely and almost summery here, so brilliant.
Yeah, and you just told me, like, here in the studio that it's the first time in, like, 6 months you are out of London and in another city, another town, another country.
Yes.
How is that feeling for you right now?
You know, it's different, isn't it? You know, it's nice to get out of your hometown. And I've been working a lot and in the studio lots. Also developing a new live show, so it's been quite intense. So it's lovely to get out of London. It's always nice to get out of London. Yeah, London. I sounded very London then.
Yeah, and we're very excited to have you here as my co-host. You will be playing these wonderful songs tonight. You'll be picking the songs on the playlist. But first, let's talk about your new music, because I just played It's Euphoric. And for this record, you went to LA, into the studio with Rostam.
Yep.
We know him as a former member of Vampire Weekend and as the producer of Haim, Clairo, Charlie XX. Lots of brilliant songs. I heard you guys met when you were making this track with Mura Masa, right? Was that the first moment you got in touch with each other?
It sort of happened very organically, which is one of the reasons why I think it was just such a beautiful thing between us, because I'd just done the track Live Like We're Dancing, and I'd just written it with Alex in the studio, and Alex at the time then played it to Rostam or something like that. I can't remember the story exactly, but Rostam heard the demo and he got in contact with me on social media, on Instagram, and was just like, hey, love your voice, you know. And I was obviously completely like, oh my gosh, it's Rostam, you know, huge fan. And so we started chatting and like started sort of talking about music, and then it just so happened I was in LA in 2019, and I said to him, look, please, can we do something? Can I get in the studio with you? And he was like, yeah, sure, let's write a song. And the first song we wrote was It's Euphoric. We wrote that in a day.
Wow.
Yeah. So if everything just felt completely like, wow, this is quite a cool experience, new to me, because previously I'd sort of written all the songs myself on my own, you know. So it was a really liberating few days with Rostam, and kind of sparked the idea to make a record with him.
And what would you describe as what made that connection so good from the first moment you guys met and when you got into the studio together?
I think there was just like this mutual respect and love, and Rostam had followed my journey, and because London is a very precious place to Rostam, because Vampire Weekend was signed to XL Records, which is in London, so he was always like, he always listens to what's fresh coming out of London, and I think he had followed my career and was a fan, and I had followed his career and was a fan, and so when we got together we were just like, I don't know, just very similar. Liked similar music, liked similar, you know, cultural things, had the same kind of ideas, and it was and then you sort of form this trust. And you know within the first sort of couple of days really of being with somebody in the studio whether it's going to work or not. I think after the second day of being in LA, I was just like, wow, I really like being around this guy, and he makes me feel comfortable as an artist, and we had that trust.
So lovely. That's what we're gonna hear on the record that's gonna be out in July. But for now, you're here at 3FM and you're the owner of the playlist. You're the DJ right now. We just played Prince, I Would Die For You. That's a song that made you want to make music too. But I can imagine, like, you were growing up in this musical household. We're gonna play left field, of course.
Yeah.
What should we explain? What do you want to say about that? Like growing up with music around you, because your dad was a co-founder of the British electronic music duo Left Field. What was that experience for you as a kid?
Well, it was complete and utter chaos, but fantastic chaos. And my parents tried to raise 2 children in amongst rave culture. So, there was it was crazy times. But I just have such fond memories of being at early Left Field concerts as a child and seeing thousands of people all with their hands in the air, dancing to one beat, and, just the idea of collectivity on a dance floor. It just was amazing to me and sparked a love for it. And my dad has always been very encouraging with me pursuing this career. And it's just, I feel very grateful that I had that sort of early childhood, even though it was chaos,
Yeah. So let's play Left Field if you're okay with the radio edit. Is that okay for you?
Gosh, that's not what the 90s kids want.
No,
I'm joking.
We have so little time. I'm so sorry. Sorry. Oh, de fantastische, altijd iconische Robin op 3FM, With Every Heartbeat. Gekozen door mijn co-host van vanavond, Georgia. You picked this wonderful song from Robin. What's it about Robin that you feel like you because I asked you like what is the kind of artist that you would like to play a support act for, and you came up with Robin.
Yeah,
Could you explain the love for Robin?
Yeah. Well, I mean, she's just such a inspirational artist, and particularly because she kind of meshed that electronic pop kind of dance sound so well, and worked with really out there producers, so her music just sounds very in her own lane.
Yeah.
And I've always admired that. And I think I picked her because you asked me who I would like to support. So Robin, if you're listening, somewhere, somehow, I'd like to support you.
I think she's also fun to hang out with. That's what I think, because she looks so friendly and so.
You never know, though, to be honest with you. You think sometimes they're going to be fun, and actually,
it's just work.
It's just work, and they break your heart.
Yeah.
There's a lot of that.
Has it ever happened to you?
Many times, yeah. I've gone up to my favorite artist and gone, "Hey, how's it?" And they've gone like, "Who are you? Get back."
No. And then you never listen to their music.
Look,
again.
Vera, it's a rite of passage. Do you know what I mean? It's like it happens to the best of us.
That's true. Let's continue with the playlist, because I asked you to pick a song.
Yes.
We just played Left Field, and you talked a bit about your childhood, and I think that also that's also for the next song from Joni Mitchell. A song that you still listen to, right? That your parents played a lot.
Yeah, this is my mum's favourite artist of all time, and therefore was played so much to me. Joni's music is like the soundtrack of my childhood, really. And, thank God for Joni Mitchell. Where would the world be without Joni Mitchell? Where would, female artists be without Joni Mitchell, especially? She paved the way, I think, and opened up a lot of doors for female artists, songwriters. So, yeah, this song, California, is just a song that me and my mum just always sing and play, and it makes me feel happy.
And since it's Mother's Day today, we have
my gosh, of course, yes.
That's why we should play the song.
That's why we're playing the song. We're playing it to all the mothers out there.
I was going to ask you, do you want to announce, do you want to present this song? Well, let's start again. So,
okay, do it properly.
Go ahead. Yeah, Georgia, go ahead.
So everyone out there... Oh, no, it's awful.
You can do it in Dutch.
I lost it. I bottled it up. All the mothers out there, this one's for you.
Yeah. Mommy. Dit is 3FM met eerst California van Joni Mitchell. En dit was natuurlijk Radiohead, There, gekozen door Georgia. You picked this song because I asked you, what was one of the best live shows ever. And you came up with this song and this part. Please take me back to that moment.
I mean, first of all, isn't that one of the best songs you've ever heard? I mean, come on, that sound, that end bit. So, like, that is euphoric. Yeah, I was 13 years old. They were playing a venue called Earl's Court, which was one of the first kind of arenas in London. Very famous bands would play there. And my mum surprised me one day after school and said, I've got tickets for us to go and see Radiohead. And we went and they played that song because it was the Hail to the Thief tour. And it was just like a wall of sound hitting you. You know, and I'd been exposed to like rave music and like also, you know, as a kid, I was sat on a bass bin, you know, at a reggae concert, just there you go, that's your education into live music. But hearing this band was next level. And I still remember, it's actually, thinking about it still, my hair's giving me goosebumps. Yeah. Because it was just such a powerful sound.
And who were you when you were 30 years old? Were you like a teenager who knew exactly what you wanted to do, who knew what kind of music she loved? Were you like, what kind of person were you as a teenager?
I think I was a real difficult person. Difficult teenager. Yeah? Probably my mum hated for a while. I was rebellious, you know. I had a love for music. I've always known that I've wanted to be a musician or pursue this career. So at that age, I was like very curious about all the different sounds that were going on in that, you know. And previously, it was the first time kind of me going to record shops and like actually picking up a record and going, I'll buy that. Yeah. So yeah, I was a very curious teenager, and I think I just, I knew very early on that I wanted to be a musician.
Yeah. And when was the moment, the next song that we're gonna play, do you remember when you first discovered this track, New York State of Mind?
Yeah, I mean, when I was 13, 14, maybe even earlier actually, 11, 12, in London, suddenly there was the wave of hip-hop. And for some reason, it just spoke to my generation, especially living in a very industrial city. Hip-hop became our kind of generation's voice. And Nas' Illmatic was the album. And I just remember like hearing this sound and being like, what is this? You know, like, what's he going on about? New York State of Mind. Where is New York? What is New York? You know, and the style, like when the videos came over, you were just like, what is, you know, and the stories of like urban living, city life, was just very relatable in some ways. And a lot of my friends where I grew up was very diverse ethnically. So like London was like, the school I went to was full of different ethnicities. And so it was like this one sound suddenly united us all. Yeah. And it was, it was just really a moment, I think, for when hip-hop kind of took over the world.
Yeah, and it developed as a song, a track that you still listen to as a record that gets you through tough times.
Yeah, totally tough times. Like whenever, like even like getting up this morning to get an early train on the Eurostar, I put on Illmatic. It's a go-to record for me, and I really recommend it for people that are wanting to get into hip-hop, like they perhaps don't know much. It's a perfect record because it's got this real warmth to it. Like the actual sound of the record is warm. It's not very like aggressive. It's like, I don't know, it's just kind of beautiful, really.
Let's go. New York State of Mind op 3FM.
Yeah. And yo, Black, it's time, word.
Ja, je zit echt goed. Je luistert echt naar 3FM. Want mijn playlist wordt vanavond door Georgia gekozen. Zij is mijn co-host. Zij komt in juli met een nieuw album. En we zijn even aan het, elkaar aan het leren kennen. Hoe kan het dan beter? Natuurlijk het allerbeste met een playlist. Georgia, this is one of your favorite classics, right? If I play Holiday, what's the moment you get back to, or the thing that you see in your mind when Madonna is playing this one?
Well, I've got many memories of this song, and I'm sure all the listeners have. But it's that moment on a dance floor, wherever, in a club or outside in a festival, and that song comes on, and you just see everybody just lose themselves.
Yeah.
You know, it's one of those songs that it's a sort of zeitgeist song, isn't it? Like everyone just you can't help but move and dance.
Yeah.
And I love Madonna. She's a big influence on the new record. I actually worked with William Orbit on one of the songs on my new record, and William Orbit did Ray of Light with Madonna, so that album was a big influence on the production of my new record. So yeah.
And is it complicated for you or for another producer to bring like kind of a record to the studio and to like point out that it is an inspiration, not to copy, of course? How did you got into the vibe, like the song that you wanted to make?
Well, you just sort of, I'm very much influenced by the sound of other things, you know, it sparks imagination.
Yeah.
I mean, a record like Ray of Light, it's such a genius record from start to finish, and it has moments that are very unpredictable on it. It's introducing new sounds to new audiences. They were very ahead of their time, actually. And I think that just inspired me and Rostam. We were like, we want to create something a bit new and sounds like nothing else. And I think putting on Ray of Light, it's almost like a spiritual awakening or something like that, you know. She's in a different Madonna era. And I think that's just inspiring, you know. So we didn't want to try and copy or anything like that. We just take the vibe, and it was a pleasure to work with William as well. He's obviously one of the most incredible producers of ever. So yeah, it was really inspiring.
And talking about religious experiences, I went to the Rosalía show last year. How can I make this about me?
I was going to say this interview has taken a turn. Religious experiences.
So let's talk about me. No. Because the next song we're gonna play is from Rosalía. The Motomami tour, the thing she is doing on stage is like, I would say the best live show I've seen in years, and you've seen it as well in England, right?
I totally agree. I think she's probably the best artist around at the moment. She's somebody who's pushing boundaries. She's pushing music to new areas, new sounds, and especially like her artistry as well. Everything, her look, her kind of stage show, everything is just very incredibly done at a level which is sort of in her own lane. And I just love her. When Motomami came out, the album, we were actually mixing my new record, and I just sort of said to Rostam, I think I want to give up, you know. It's just too good. It's just the best record, so you know, might as well just give up. Luckily we didn't, but she's very inspiring, and I went to see her live, and her voice her voice,
it's insane.
It's amazing how a voice like that can just command a whole arena, like just on her own. She's next level.
And why did you specifically chose this song? What do you love about this track that we're gonna play?
So this was the first track off the Motomami record that I don't know, it just played shuffle, and it played it, and I was like, what is this beat? You know, first of all, you've got those chords which are just quite dark, and then you've got this like incredible reggaeton beat over the top, and then you've got Rosalía rapping, and then the featured rapper as well, I've forgotten her name now, sorry.
Tokisha.
Yeah, Tokisha, who's obviously an amazing artist in her own right. I just thought, wow, the sound of it's so minimal. The drums are incredible. Yeah, so if you're listening, listen to the just simplicity of the drums. I love it. I love it.
Missy Elliott op 3FM, The Rain. Georgia, this was the first CD you ever bought,
yes,
right? Missy Elliott.
Yes.
Why is she such an icon?
Oh, I can't really put it into words. She changed everything for a lot of female artists, but I think also every single artist around that time, and still does, sort of. She opened the doors really to wacky, wild, alternative thinking artists, and also to take control of your art and write the songs, be with the producer, produce it. Like, she really did. She was kind of the Kate Bush of hip hop, I think. And without Missy Elliott, you wouldn't have had so many great artists since. And I as soon as I heard her music, I was like, what is that? And then you got all the videos as well, which she obviously directed, which at the time there was a very famous partnership with Hype Williams, who's a very famous video director who did a lot of hip hop in those days. And those videos were just wild, you know, like the Rain video or Get Your Freak On. There was
So
all these
weird,
dancers in mad situations. And there's Missy with her hair and she's dancing and it's all like, I don't know, it was just like alien to me. It was like great, like what is this? And I think we owe it to artists like that who spark imaginations of young people, and then they carry the light on, so yeah, she's a very, very important artist to me, and I think to a lot of people.
Yeah, I could listen to you talk and like pick the songs for hours. Unfortunately, we still have not like 1 minute 48:07. This countdown is killing me now. But I really want to thank you for being here tonight, Georgia, picking the songs and choosing this wonderful tracks for the playlist. Of course, that will be a great closing song from you previously mentioned her, Kate Bush. But are you going to be back in the Netherlands anytime soon? You think?
I think I'm back in late August on an island. September-ish on an island. I've been told it's on an island.
Yeah.
That's all I've been told. And I'm swimming there, apparently, from the mainland to the island.
Yeah. Really looking forward to the release of your album.
Thank you.
28 juli komt die uit, het nieuwe album van Georgia. I'm gonna mix like English and Dutch.
I love it.
Yeah, I'm so international. It's
you
great.
Are.
But thank you so much for your time. Do you want to say anything else? Want to introduce this song, the famous last words of Georgia, of this wonderful evening?
Oh no, I bottled it again.
14 mei 2023.
Well, this is one of the greatest pop songs ever written by one of the greatest artists that's ever come to light. This is Kate Bush, Hounds of Love.
Amen. Thank you so much, Georgia.